you dumb. Fucking dumb. What drug are you on? All right. What drug are you on? Huh? Because I'm rich forever. Get out of my face. No!
I saw a thing online that said that Donald Trump pardoned you from jail and you got out because Donald Trump did it. Is that true?
It was the other way around. I did that for him.
Mm-hmm. And what was he in jail for?
That was trying to lie, my boy. This shit, you know, so he be down here, Palm Beach.
I tell you, pimp up. Yeah, go pull up the game. How does motion go?
I get love out here in Harlem, man. I done sold coke on these streets, man. Hash, weed, heroin. As long as niggas is feeling it, a nigga like me can hustle it. That's my gift in life, eh?
The backstage of the show with a gun. Oh my God, can you imagine a wrestler just, oh wait, that's Harley Race, what's he doing? Oh my God, he's setting the ring on fire.
Clearly he's unhappy.
He must be looking for a job.
Yeah, he's obviously trying to get on here. That worked the last time when we were in Peoria and Paul Christie set the ring on fire. And then we went to Indianapolis and Bruiser set the ring on fire. It was Angelo Poffo in Peoria that set the ring on fire. But anyway.
Carried a gun everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, look.
The fans are so ignorant.
And I think I did a good deed. I think God is seeing this.
How do you make your living?
What? Look, real estate. We sell cars and everything, you know. Look, this is my daughter right here. You know what I mean?
Really?
She's a crack whore.
All you see is a beer drinking, cigarette smoking, pool hustling scumbag.
How do you make your living?
What? Look, real estate. We sell cars and everything. Look, this is my daughter right here. You know what I mean? We not doing nothing bad, man.
If I asked one of those police what you do, what would he say?
That whatever. I don't know.
They'd say that you're a big time drug dealer.
I'm not, man, for real, man. I pay rent.
Sincerely, Sharp Rob the Pimp.
No, you wanna get them.
What's poppin', man? What it is? What's happening? So we gonna do this video that I did in a 5-part series on my main channel or my old channel before it got took down. It was one of my more like well-known things. One of my things that I guess was more well-received. I know for a long time I was thought of as having probably the most comprehensive view on the sigils if they were real. Because I mean, it's just an urban legend till like someone has a body that's tied to this shit, and it's like guaranteed. You know, they could prove that body is tied to that track on Children of the Corn, the demo, or whatever. As of right now, it's just a theory. However, I think there is some logic behind it, and because they took my channel down, I now have a chance to redo all the videos I already did and do them better and put them up again in a different way. Because I just seen Flesh Simulator do this in a way that seemed like he was paid to at a very convenient timing. Very convenient timing. Before Flesh Simulator's vid, the only video I think that explained it, I don't think there was a video that explained it like I did. There was no video. Even Flesh Simulator ain't explained it like I did. And I just find it real fucking ironic. Like, no one else was trying to discredit it except Flesh Simulator. I used to like you, Flesh Simulator. If you had done this before they took my channel down, I wouldn't feel no type of way. I feel like you had seen my videos on that shit. Or someone had and paid you to do this now. Because they know now there's not a record of it. You know what else is wild? I go on Google to try to find the Creefies website. I've been in audio sigil magic on the same phone I looked it up before. and it's not coming up. It was like trying to remember in my head, y'all, yo, what was the name of that fucking website that broke this shit down for you? Because there's ways of doing audio sigils without having nobody sold for them. I know the part of it that, like, I know the logic behind how certain witchcraft that makes that shit work. Like, not Flesh Simulator, not nobody but me ever touched on how audio sigil magic works in this shit, and that's talking about baseline audio sigil magic, not with needing a dead person's soul for it. And no one else talked about why the magnetic strip, like why the cassette tape was needed, why you can't get the effect without the cassette tape. Wherever Narwhal gave someone this shit, it was on what? The cassette tape. You won't get the same effect without it being the cassette tape. Even people from Memphis said that shit. I just know that everyone who did this fucking rap sigil shit, if they ain't dead or fall off the face of the earth and never drop nothing ever again, they go to church every fucking Sunday religiously. Like they trying to repent for something. Is it Tiny Man that does that? I know fucking Tommy Wright does that. Tommy Wright goes to church every Sunday. Tommy Wright, I Creep at Night, there's not a sound on that. I haven't listened to this whole tape. My whole thing is too, it's not the whole tape. It's certain tracks. There is a track that I'm going to put a small sample on this of Children of the Corn, the demo. Like, it's not even really a rap. It's just like a chanting part. And you can feel the energy shift. And it's not even on tape. It like feels like someone died there, bro. I ain't the only one who felt that shit. And I didn't listen to that one on the tape. I think 99% of what people say to discredit it is true about 99% of the tracks. I think some of these sigil tapes don't even have no sigil on them. The only one I can say almost definitely does is Children of the Corn, the demo. I know exactly which track it is. There might be two on that tape that are sigils, but there's one that I'm 99.9% sure if this is what the sigils is, it's this track. I haven't found nothing from Tiny Man or from nobody else who has claimed to have a sigil tape that had this type of energy on it. I think it's again a case in history where someone does something one time and it's turned into something way bigger. I also think there's a lot of sigil track, not a lot, but there's, I think, another sigil track that's not listed as a sigil track. I think Lord Infamous kind of figured out how to do the sigil soul magic shit and basically turn the tape into a soul gem and charge the spirit by pissing it off, by making it hear motherfuckers mocking how it died and shit. I'm gonna break down the math because there's math involved in how audio sigil works. Because musical notes are only A through G, right? You have to assign certain letters to A, certain letters to B, certain letters to C, certain letters to D, certain letters to E, certain letters to F, and certain letters to G. It has to do with the musical alphabet. That's a whole other thing, but I'm gonna get into that too. Really, I'm just really pissed off that Flesh Simulator discredited this. He knows better, bro. He knows better. That's why I'm saying someone paid him to say this shit. That Children of the Corn shit on the demo, it was like track 13 or something. It's just like one of the weird fucking interludes. It's not the regular interlude. It's some other interlude. There's two interludes on that tape that don't sound like Tommy Wright, I Creep at Night, that don't sound like Tiny Man. That shit sound like somebody died, bro. And like they're doing a satanic ritual after it. To record a track, like here's the thing. I don't think you get the actual murder on the tape. You might sample that. You don't record that. That's so hard to mic up and record for. Like, I think in some cases, like the Lord Infamous song Torture Chambers, that I think might be a sigil, is sounds that are sampled that were from the murders. But in order to do that, you would have to have like a torture chamber, because to mic up a murder where someone, whoever you're murdering, is not just going to agree to be murdered, bro. So unless they're tied up and like can't move, bro, the mic is gonna be here. They're probably gonna knock the mic over and shit. The chances of getting that accurately recorded, of just getting the drop on somebody trying to blast at them or shit, if they sampled a murder at all, they had someone tied up and they was trying to like do like some torture chamber shit. It's been a kind of long intro part, but I just want to make sure I cover all my bases here. I felt like I was spurred to do this because they took down my channel and I did the most in-depth review of this shit out of everybody. Fuck a Flesh Simulator, fuck a Matty Balls, fuck anyone who ever talked about the sigils. You know, there will be a reason to want to discredit this. There's multiple reasons. People also don't want to believe other people would do shit like that, especially if they was beloved figures. I just felt like I had to do this again. Do it probably all in one video. It's probably gonna be a long video, probably gonna be a deep dive. But I felt like I had to do this. I felt disrespected. I felt like Flesh Simulator trying to discredit the guys right now. So I'm gonna break down exactly why he's wrong and what I said before, and explain how all this shit worked in such a deep dive that these motherfuckers is not even fucking ready for it, pimp.
Memphis rap really took it to the next level, and that actually is where our story about Sigils begins.
Now I want you to notice he makes no reference to EVP or EMF or how that factors in, or why you would record with the cassette tape using a magnetic strip at the spot the murder happened at right after it happened. Why that all ties in. He doesn't mention this at all, so I'm gonna break all that down for you.
So, what is a Memphis rap sigil?
I'm basically going, I'm gonna do the hit 'em up on this fucking video, bro. I'm gonna Tupac hit 'em up this video. I'm gonna take Flesh Simulator video, I'm gonna basically make it into a diss against Flesh Simulator because he ain't covered this shit right.
Alright, so you know how in like Oblivion or Skyrim or whatever, they had black soul gems?
What he's talking about here is soul gem theory, which is like the ancient version of this. However, he just goes from that to like, well, somehow they're doing this on the tapes without explaining EMF, which is electromagnetic frequency, EVP, which is electronic voice phenomenon, and magnets. The whole world is magnets. When you get to prison, the reason them doors don't open for you and you can't just walk out is magnets. The reason people connect is bioelectric magnetic energy. Your soul is bioelectricity. That's why EMF, EVP, and the cassette tape having a magnetic strip factor into this so much, and the fact that he completely left that out is what tells me someone paid him to discredit this shit.
You get them from killing necromancers. And what you can do is you can soul trap someone. You can cast the soul trap spell on them, and if you kill them within the allotted time period, all their soul energy is trapped in the black soul gem, which you can then use to recharge magic staves or make spells or whatever.
Again, he tries to relate it to Skyrim without talking about charging, without talking about EMF, without talking about the magnetic strip and the cassette tape, and without talking about electronic voice phenomenon.
It's basically that.
No, it's not basically that. The only part that's basically that is you trapping the soul into something that's an inanimate object. That's the only part that's the same. You're a fucking idiot, and I don't believe that you're an idiot, which is why I believe you were paid to discredit this shit.
Like, the idea is that, you know, when you finish up a new mixtape, you do some kind of incantation or ritual.
Again, you see how he's purposely getting the order of events backwards? When you finish up a new mixtape, then you do some... No! While you're making the mixtape, you go where you just smoked somebody at, and you record at least a few tracks there. And it imbues their soul energy onto the cassette tape. Their soul becomes imbued on the magnetic strip of the cassette tape.
You pick a victim, then you go kill that person. And you bring a copy of the cassette with you.
Purposefully leaves out what you do with the cassette when you're there. Purposely leaves that whole shit out. Why? And why is the shit on Google about this shit? Seems like it's been buried. Like this shit is some shit they weren't supposed to let out.
And it soul traps their soul into the cassette.
I like how he used what you do in Skyrim for something that's a completely different shit without a magnetic. Like the Skyrim soul gem doesn't use magnets. It doesn't rely on EVP or EMF generated after someone dies. What you're working with is the same shit that creates spirit box. You understand? The same shit that causes a spirit box to work is what causes the sigils to work. Do you understand? That's why when you play that shit, especially if you make fun of the person who died, the more that you anger the spirit that's on that tape, which is why that tape is important, the more your tape will succeed or whatever. But he's leaving out the whole actual way that they said this shit happened, which I think wasn't the right way to begin with, but I'm gonna get into that in a later chapter.
I myself, initially I read that and was just sort of like, oh, I guess they were soul trapping people. And it wasn't until like I really, thought about it a little bit more that I was like, hey, wait a second, that sounds like Oblivion.
The way we go with the brainwashing and the whitewashing and the trying to make this shit covered up. Here we go with the bullshit, trying to cover this shit up for the white man.
And then I, looked a little deeper into it, but...
Oh, you look a little deeper into it? How much deeper you look? How much deeper you look? You ain't covered this shit like me, motherfucker. You ain't covered this shit like me. You ain't covered this shit in no 5-part shit that was fucking 50, 60 minutes long in total. You ain't do this shit like I'm about to do it, pimp.
What's interesting is just like how quickly it, was just taken as fact. And I think that really...
You know what's interesting, pimp? You know what's interesting? How you completely left out the whole recipe. You completely leave that out your video. You a motherfucking fraud, bro. You got some little dollars. They paying you $60 a month or some shit. You sold all your you sold your entire journalistic integrity up the river from $60 a month, pimp. Why do your eyes go to the opposite side, bro? Why is you like looking 2 different directions at once? Can we talk about that, pimp? Can we ask those questions, pimp? Homie look like he stepped on an IED in Fallujah bad, bro. Like you look like you got brain damage, bro. When I lived in my old apartment, the neighbor, bro, used to look to the side like this. He had a big-ass scar like this and a metal plate in his head because he got blown up by IED in Iraq. Is that what happened to you, pimp? Like, goddamn, bro, I don't understand. You probably can't even get no bitches either, pimp.
It has to do with the, tone and the nature and the vibes of the music.
He stepped on an IED in Fallujah bad, bro. That's how the white man bought your ass for $60 a month, huh? He bought your ass for like a Netflix membership, huh, pimp?
Really, to understand Memphis rap, you have to understand Memphis itself. You see, Memphis in the 90s was not a fun place to be living. Abject poverty, extreme racial tensions, one of the highest murder rates in the country.
So you got high murder rates. High murder rates, right? To make decisions, what needs to happen? People need to get murdered, right?
Memphis itself also just has kind of a uniquely dark past in terms of high-profile events. It was the city where Martin Luther King was shot.
It's where Elvis is from.
It's it was the city.
So why do you seem like you're being held at gunpoint and asked to cover this up? And they're telling you don't talk about Elvis. Don't talk about EVP or EMF. Don't even talk about the recipe. Why you look like you threatened and struggling to come up with the words? Blink twice if you being held hostage, please. I won't come save you.
It's where the West Memphis 3 case happened, where, 3 teenagers were wrongfully accused of murdering 3 children and, what was assumed to be some kind of satanic ritual, primarily because of the fact that they had an interest in the occult and, listen to metal music.
No. Primarily because they had an interest in the occult. Let's be clear. And there's something to do with children's souls in the occult that I'm not going to get into here because it has nothing to do with this video. And how you know they were wrongfully accused just because that's what the court said, bro? I beat an attempt murder charge. I'm going to be honest with you. You could beat a case if you really did it. Ask O.J. Simpson.
It's a city marked by countless serial killers, like actually a weirdly high number of serial killers.
Again, more people who could make the sigils. I find it really funny how he doesn't talk about Lord Infamous at all, but he talks about Koopstanika.
Memphis Strangler. Other ones. Giant Pain Fireball.
This motherfucker look like a TBI.
What makes Memphis rap different is the overt embrace of Satanism and the occult.
Like, I don't know, black magic, sigils, electromagnetic phenomena, electromagnetic field, soul energy, soul majory, blood majory, the occult.
All right, let's talk about the actual overt occult and satanic influences on Memphis rap. These mostly originated from 666 Mafia.
Like, I love how he's so quick to discredit Satanism as just like, oh, it's just silly Dungeons and Dragons shit. It's just a game, bro. It's not real.
You know, it was artistic expression and metaphor, not literally devil worship.
Yeah, that shit sound good. That shit sound good. Just like Stairway to Heaven backwards.
You know, he kind of went on to say that, you know, it was shocking, it was badass, but mostly it was just a metaphor for the actual living condition.
Right. Now listen, I don't think Juicy J or DJ Paul did any sigils. I don't think they're Satanists. I think the name was shock value. I think they seen some people who were Satanists, and that's what gave them the idea for the name and using it for shock value. But I don't think they're directly involved in any type of satanic rituals or any type of the Memphis rap sigils. I don't think so at all. I know DJ Paul especially is a very Christian individual. And keep in mind, none of the rap sigils are 666 Mafia albums. None of the rap sigils are 3 6 Mafia albums at all. None of them.
However, there have been persistent rumors about certain members, particularly Lord Infamous and Koopsta Knicka, having deeper involvement with the occult.
Oh wow, he actually did acknowledge them. Listen, because it's going to flag me if I do it, look up that song Torture Chambers. Listen, if you're allowed to walk around somewhere like Memphis, calling yourself Lord Infamous, and you just happen to die at the same age as Koopsta Knicka, I forget if they both died of a heart attack, but I know they both died of basically natural causes at the same age of like 43 or 45 or some shit. If you're walking around the streets of Memphis, I know this because if you were walking around the streets of Hartford, let alone the streets of Detroit, calling yourself some shit like Lord Infamous, someone is going to try to smoke you just off having that nickname. I know that just from having the nickname Mac Bundles. Like, people in the hood will literally try to do it to you just off having that nickname. Especially if they know there's real bodies and shit behind it. If not, they'll just try to little bro you till you stop calling yourself that. Smack you around and shit till you stop calling yourself Lord Infamous. So for him to die of basically natural causes from like heart attack or some shit, and him and Koopsta Knicka died at the same age. He don't like to mention that. And him and Koopsta Knicka had a song called Torture Chambers that I believe is an actual sigil that's not listed as one of the sigils.
One of the most puzzling pieces of this situation is a bit of evidence that came from an interview that Koopsta did years ago. He described how, while shooting the cover art for Mystic Styles, they wound up stumbling upon what was, in his words, a gathering of, some kind of, group of rich businessmen and politicians engaged in a black magic ritual of some kind.
And that supports my theory that Lord Infamous and Koopsta Knicka were the ones who figured out how to invent the sigils. Because they learned it from them white boys.
According to Koopsta, they were made to watch, and that experience heavily influenced their imagery and themes and lyrics going forward. Crunchy Black, former member of 3 6 Mafia, has given interviews wherein he states that specifically Juicy J and DJ Paul do not worship Satan. Other people, that's not my business to say. Although one might be tempted to kind of question the veracity of the statement, given Black's acrimonious departure from the group, the two members with whom he actually had issues were the two that he said didn't worship Satan. Additionally, Black states that although he does not worship Satan, nor did he sell his soul, he did accept a deal from Satan for his career, which he detailed. He would achieve wealth and fame via his music career in exchange for glorifying Satan and things like violence and drug abuse. Now, Crunchy Black is a lifelong polysubstance abuser with a history of mental illness, so...
Keep in mind, the only people he brings up are dead, and then he immediately discredits the other as being a drug addict. Like, why he discredit him like that? You see what I'm saying? Like, this seems paid for. Does this not seem paid for to y'all? So I'm gonna do the video this motherfucker should have done. This the end of the first chapter. We moving on in the next one.
The fans are so ignorant.
Here's a brief overview of EMF, EVP, and how it interacts with electronics when it comes to the spirit realm, as well as explaining why EMF, electromagnetic field, has to do with the magnetic strips on the cassette tapes and why that was so important. As you can see, it's talking about radar, ions, EMF, infrasound, and EVP. What we're going to focus on is EMF and infrasound and EVP. Infrasound and EVP is audio, usually voices that cannot be picked up by the naked ear, and you have to usually use old forms of analog electronics, aka misuse them, to get EVP readings through them, like old analog TVs, cameras, etc. Walkie-talkies, Walkmans, anything analog. Certain analog things can be repurposed and misused to detect EVP better. That's how spirit boxes are made and work, is off EVP. Sigils are basically trapping that spirit that would make the EVP, that would just be out in wherever the shit happened at, whatever haunted place, and trapping that spirit that would make that EVP and that EVP that's attached to that spirit on the tape through the magnetic strip via EMF or electromagnetic field. Here's common equipment used to detect EMF, EVP in relation to spirits and whatnot, and is pretty much all equipment that was adapted or misused at first to create things like spirit boxes, etc. Notice how the REM pod is used by creating a small electromagnetic field. That's how the EVP is able to be communicated, because it manipulates that electromagnetic field being generated. Certain other electronics like walkie-talkies can interfere with the EVP and EMF generation. And here's a diagram showing how the EMF, the wavelengths, and all that interact with each other. So as you can see, there's a science behind this. This is not the magic behind this. This is the science behind this. The magic is the next chapter. So I just felt like I had to give y'all all this before I give y'all that, so I could ground us in reality. Keyword: electromagnetic field. That's why analog tape recorders with the magnetic strip on the tape pick it up, because it's magnetic, like death, magnetic. If the tape wasn't magnetic, it would not be able to trap the soul energy. That's why you cannot do it on a CD. So you might notice I took this extremely personal. I did. I feel like I was the first person to really go in depth into the fucking into the sigils on here, and y'all stole my swag. I was talking about that shit when it wasn't cool. I was talking about that shit when it was just little YouTubers talking about it. That's why when Matty Balls talk about, I ain't have no problem with him doing that, pimp. I'm like, okay, fine, one big person did that shit, whatever. He ain't even, he just basically said a more generic version of the shit I said without the specifics or the depth to it. I know a lot about motherfucking paranormal bullshit. I know a lot about Merzik. I know a lot about witchery bullshit. That's how I know what the fuck, whatever his name is, bro, I don't even know who that is. We're just trying to just discredit some shit. Because he talks nothing about the actual science that's involved, nor the actual magic that's involved. And the magic don't have to involve killing somebody, right? That's just how it was used in the Memphis sigils. But I just felt like I had to do this, man, because it wasn't right the way that he was talking about the shit. Like, I'm gonna start doing a lot of deeper shit like this on this channel, try to get my name out there and shit. And why is your name Flesh Simulator? Like, is you an AI channel? Your eyes make you kind of look like you an AI channel. I don't think you got blown up in fucking the Gulf War or none of that shit. I think you my age. But I just had to let motherfuckers know, man. I'm not co-signing this. I'm not stamping this. As the OG of the sigils on this bitch, I'm not stamping this. This buku crackhead shit, get it hung. Take that shit out of here. But basically the way the EVP and the EMF work, that's why you would go there with the Akai tape recorder with the cassette tape with the magnetic strip, because the magnet and the shortness of time after the person was killed that you record that shit, the more of a chance of at least trapping the EVP, if not part of their actual soul on the track. Now the EVP is like a soul fragment, okay? It's like a memory fragment. It's like when you got a corrupted memory, that's what EVP is. So there's an actual science behind this. I felt like I had to get this out of the way before we move on to the actual magical elements of shit, all right? And some people could call it pseudoscience, that's fine, all right? But we're dealing with a lot of satanic elements at play here and shit. And I know one thing I've witnessed firsthand, Satanism rely a lot on chanting. I'm gonna show y'all at the end of this video, if it'll let me, the track that I'm talking about on the demo by Children of the Corn. You will see what I say. Satanism relies a lot on chanting. Why I say that. I'm not gonna chop this talking part up as much because I really don't give a fuck. I ain't no motherfucking flesh simulator. I'm a real motherfucking person in there, bitch, pimp. Yeah, so check this shit out, man. So what we're gonna go over now is audio sigil magic, which is basically the same as visual sigil magic, which is creating an image in your head. Like, you ever heard someone say they dreamt something before they did it? That's visual sigil magic. This is audio sigil magic. So basically what you're going to do for this, that doesn't involve killing nobody and putting it on fucking samples, is you take the musical alphabet and you have a desired outcome, right? So like, say you want to be strong, healthy, and vital, some shit like that. You take all the vowels out and you leave only the consonants, and you go through the musical alphabet, applying each consonant to the letters A through G in the musical alphabet. So basically, it's going to show you this in a minute, and then it discusses charging in a second. The way it discusses charging is weird. If you want to freeze frame any of this, you can, but basically, unlike a visual sigil, it does not need to be cast out of your mind or destroyed afterwards. This is real occult shit from real occult websites that this motherfucker's acting like it's just some make-believe bullshit, and it's not. I gave y'all the science behind it. Now I'm giving y'all the spiritual bullshit behind it, all right? Do not practice witchcraft, but I know a lot about this shit. I've seen a lot of dark entities in my life. So here's what we talk about. Start by writing the alphabet. Now the first 7 letters of the alphabet are the musical alphabet. So you put all the rest of the letters in a row under those. Then you remove the vowels. So I am strong, healthy, and vital becomes MSTRNGHLYDV. You take all the vowels out, as you see, and leave just the consonants underneath the musical alphabet. After making this grid, you remove all the vowels, and then you can make a sigil out of that by timing everything with the musical notes that start the grid of the alphabet you got there. This is real chaotic, satanic shit, pimp. This is real occult shit, pimp. And this motherfucker flesh simulator is just trying to write it off as some bullshit. Listen, how much they pay you? How much that nuclear synth you want it cost, man? Come on, man. You can't sell out your journalistic integrity for this bullshit, man. You a motherfucking shill and a bullshit artist at this point. You a cover-up artist, bro. You the spin doctors. You heard me, pimp? You the spin doctors. Because this some real shit, and I came with receipts, bitch. Brr, brr, bitch, I got something to say. So then it goes on to talk about charging it using sex magic and all type of shit. You can read all that and freeze frame it on your own if you want. I just had to do this because I know I did the most in-depth sigil coverage before anybody else did it, big or small. And so I felt like I had to represent my shit. I had to put on for my city. I do this shit the right way because this motherfucker got all fucked up. Bro, you're not even a real person, bro. Stop talking about real people's shit, pimp. If you're not America, don't talk about American shit, pimp. That's how we do this, you heard me? Just America, speak American or speak Spanish. Either way. Nothing else, bro. Only American Espanol. You heard me? I be on the phone with Pablo talking Spanish. You heard me? I be on the phone with Jimbo 007-007 talking Spanish. You heard me? Si habla español. Yo bilingual. Anyway, yeah. So as y'all know, I just felt like I had to do this because of all the sigil videos I did on my old channel and how well received they was and how in-depth they was and shit. So I figured give it to you all, condense it into a big video, get the numbers up. Hey, listen, I don't ask shit from none of y'all, right? I don't ask y'all to like shit. I don't ask y'all to subscribe for shit. I don't usually ask y'all to share shit, right? But listen, if one of your friends tries to tell y'all the sigils is bullshit because Flush Simulator says so, share this video with them. You heard me, pimp? I'm out there, bitch. The revolution will be televised, pimp. Dilaudid. Oh, and because I forgot, here's the Children of the Corn, the single. These are 3 tracks in particular I want y'all to pay attention to. Notice how the first 2 have a different tone than the second one. The evil interlude is not really the evil one. The regular interlude is what has a different feel than the rest of the whole album. Also, the track right after the interlude has a really weird affect, and that's the most replayed part. The single tape has a different tone than the whole rest of the sigils.
Why do I talk to forces, strange forces? Why do I talk to forces? The devil sent disciples, 50 demons on the deadly path. The devil sent disciples, 50 demons on the deadly path. Why do I talk to forces, strange forces? Why do I talk to forces, strange forces? Why do I talk to forces, strange forces that I constantly hear? Bringing out that Anna to a nigga, one so clever, nigga. Oh, I cannot go, I got this, no one coming for you, bitch. Bringing out the Anna to a nigga, one so clever, nigga. Be my fucking self. Be my fucking self. So you will delete yourself. Why do I talk to forces? Bringing out the Anna to a nigga, one so clever, nigga. Bringing out the Anna to a nigga, one so clever, nigga. And run across the 7 times of this lower level shit.
Notice the way that sounds, okay? Then notice how the rest of it kind of sounds like if ICP was gangster, but it wasn't Blazy Dead Homie, and it wasn't as cartoony.
Slowly I'm arising from the ringing of my telephone. Picked it up, my nigga pushed and told me that it's fucking on. Quick then took a shower, not an hour before I'm out the door. Time to scoop my niggas, then we run up in the liquor store. Kicking it in the park, at the dock, we do it every day. Started in the morning, but now it's dark and ho, we cheap and hey. Sweet talk on the mic, you know I'm hype because I'm on that dope. Testing all you busters cause I'm quick to make it, let it go. Ran into some problems with them niggas on the other side. Play me like a hoe and watch the unexpected killer ride. Niggas turn the stitches, run their mouths like a bitch. But don't say fuck them busters, let's go kick it with Lil Fish.
A new day, my beepers beeping and my alarm clock rings to wake me up. Before I leave the house, I hug my mom, she wish me good luck. Reach up under my pillow, grip my 9 and tuck it in my pants. Busters try to scope me out, you like your life, don't take that chance. Every day is shit, I'm getting in, hanging with a tap. Robbing busters with their Glock, drinking yaks and getting high. Sit back in the crush, high as hell, bumping Marvin Gaye. Fishes in the back seat, chiefing on a blunt of hay. Kiki got got that tick, don't bust a sweat to pop it at your neck. I know that he's a lunatic that should be getting crazy checks. I'm that way when Chief and Hey don't drop it off, you make my day. Said it's got my back, Lil Derek driving for the getaway. Westwood niggas trained to kill, now they cocked it all time. Killers brought up in my hood, I bet you that I'm down for mine.
Now we school of fish about to smoke out on a quarter pound. Rolling scope and busters about to make some limits. Lay it down, lay it down, lay it down. 211's in effect. Boy, you better not bust a sweat. I got this tick up to your neck. Westwood coming super deep up in this motherfucking bitch. Lil P drop that mask and show them bitches who they fucking with.
Hickory dickory dock from the Glock found in my suit. Make your body numb with them Teflons, then I shoot. Cowards lay it down, I got that Jason mask upon my face. Busters better not make no move before I catch a murder case. Tell me how my lead tastes, I put your soul to waste. Look for we bucking all them hoes, so children stay in your place. That's that on it. That's how shit gonna be, and that's how shit always gonna be. Westwood killers, bitch.
Yeah, the devil and let me go. Yeah, the devil and let me go. Suicidal, ghost fighter, buses made me use my service. Yeah, the devil and let me go. Yeah, the devil and let me go. Yeah, the devil and let me go. Suicidal, ghost fighter, buses made me use my service. Suicidal, ghost fighter, buses made me use my service. Suicidal, ghost fighter, buses made me use my service. Yeah, the devil and let me go. Yeah, the devil and let me go. Suicidal, ghost fighter, buses made me use my service. Suicidal, ghost fighter, buses made me use my service. Yeah, the devil and let me go. Yeah, the devil. Yeah, the devil. just wanna know.